Hello, Matt. You are up next, sir.
Hey, Bart.
Hey, how's it going, Matt?
I'm good.
So you are a new CLP sub. Where's this hand played out of?
Mohegan Sun.
Ah, a place that I have actually never been to.
Yeah, I
Crazy
know,
enough.
because I listen to the show a lot. I know you never get down there. I know you play it encore.
Yeah, I mean, the backstory though is somebody just told me that so aren't they building a new, aren't they about to open a new Foxwoods room or something?
Foxwoods.
Yeah,
Yeah, they got a new poker room coming in a couple of weeks, I think.
that will be interesting to see how that shifts things around if it does. So what is the size of the game that you're playing in here?
2-5. I'm sitting at a 2-5 1K cap game.
All right, so 2-5, 1K cap, and how deep are you?
So in the email, I was wrong. I wrote 900 effective, but I was actually thinking about the hand. I was actually 1.1.
Okay. All right, start us off here, pre-flop.
So pre-flop, I'm under the gun, and I open to $20 with 7-8 of diamonds.
Full ring game, like nine-handed?
Yeah, it was 9-handed.
All right, I mean, that's a little, you could make a case that that's a little bit light from up front, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, so you go to 20 with 7-8 of diamonds, okay?
Yep, folds around to the small blind, who's the villain, and he 3-bets it to 75.
All right, so it's folded to the small blind. He 3-bets to 75. You guys are pretty deep here at 1100. Does it get folded back to you?
Yep, the big blind folded.
Okay, so the big blind folds. So I would just say here, we were talking about how this was a pretty light open from up front, right? I mean, it's probably really like the bottom part of your opening range. He's made it 75, so the pot's like 95, and it's like 55 for you to call. So you're getting like 2-1 closing the action, I would say, in position. You are deep here too, so it's 55 more. I mean, you can make 20x, but my point here is that there are supposed to be some raise folds from this spot. Now, you could say that the way that you want to construct a defend range and open from under the gun and defend heads up to a small blind 3-bet range might be that you fold off like the offs because you guys are, fairly deep, right? You're over 200 bigs. So you could say, all right, I'm going to fold off like ace jack off, stuff like that, king queen off, and I will defend down with some of these suited hands. I just wanted to point that out. So you call?
Yep, I called.
All right. Now you could get spicy once in a great while and throw in a 4-bet, but the configuration is very, very tight. And again, usually this is not like you're opening from the button and small blind's playing like a 3-better fold. Well, he might be playing a 3-better fold strategy, but it's still pretty tight. So you go heads up 150 to the flop. Okay.
So the flop comes out 4 of spades, 5 of spades, 6 of spades.
Wow. So you flop the 4 of spades, 5 of spades, 6 of spades. So you flop the nut straight, but it's a monotone board.
Yeah, I flopped the joint, but my radar was on.
Well, I mean, there aren't if you look at this, sure, it's a small portion of his range. If he 3-bets here with like ace 10 suited plus, some suited broadways, yeah, you have you have some flushes in his range, but maybe not even as many as like a later configuration, and also like even just like single field calls, I would say. Like he would probably have more flushes here. Maybe not because of the distribution of the cards, but sometimes he'd have more flushes here if it was just a flat call pre,
Right. Ace, king of spades, and ace, queen of spades. And besides that, I was narrowing it down to king, king, queen, queen, or ace, ace with the spade.
I mean, he could 3-bet like ace, jack of spades, king, queen of spades. I mean, those are all hands that I usually will 3-bet there in that particular spot. I don't know how, at this stack depth, there are slivers of flat calls probably because your UTG open is so sort of tight. You could probably see slivers of flat calls in the small blind at 200 big blinds. So the fact that he 3-bet, maybe the flat calls are like the queen jack suited types of hands, but he 3-bet, so maybe there's less of that. What did he do on the flop?
Okay. Yeah, so the villain checks.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was weird right off the bat. And then
I wouldn't say it's necessarily weird. There are a lot of guys, I don't know how much at 2-5, but as you move up and the better the players, they'll have sort of more respect for they'll have more respect for the board and do some checking and stuff with overpairs. But the thing that's interesting about this, though, is that this is not like 9-10 jack. Like if he's got like red aces on 9-10 jack, this is 4-5-6. So it's different in the sense that you don't have you probably don't have that much 7-8 here. I don't know if you open the small pairs, things like that. But people sometimes will play these boards like somewhat conservatively because of the fact that the equities change so much when one card burns off.
And most of the time I play 1-2, and if that happens, usually a guy checks like that after 3-betting means they whiffed.
Right, exactly, right. But he could have like something like ace king and a spade that just doesn't necessarily need to bet. Another candidate that you could sometimes check here is aces with the ace of spades here too, which doesn't need to protect anything. You don't have the nut flush. I mean, I'm definitely betting if I'm you, but I just,
Well, yeah, so I did end up betting. I bet 65.
So hero bets 65. I mean, I kind of want to start. I actually might. So this is kind of an in-between bet here. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. Just to make it as easy as possible, I feel like he's going to either have check give ups here, or he's going to have a range that's going to at least check call for 100 that at the same rate as 65.
Okay, so I got to go higher.
I mean, I would just say, I mean, I probably would have bet 100. You bet 65, okay.
Yep, bet 65.
Yeah.
And the villain insta check raises to 200, like snap check raise.
So here's my gut about this. So villain 1 check raise to 200. So there's a couple of different options, but I'll give you my gut about what I think this check raise is. So let's talk about the possible flushes that he can have here. The possible flushes that he can have, we talked about it, right? It's like nut flushes, probably like high, like ace king of spades, ace queen of spades, something like that. And then maybe slivers of like king, queen of spades, maybe once in a while like queen, jack of spades, or he's getting frisky with some sort of smaller flush, but way more like ace high flushes. I feel like none of those hands take this line. Like I feel like the non-nut flushes probably don't go for a check raise as much. And there's only a few combos of those. And then the nut flush, when you think about it, like if he's got like ace king with say ace king of spades, ace queen of spades. I mean, maybe sometimes once in a while, but a lot of times people just feel like that's absolutely invulnerable. Why do I want to check raise and just blow the guy off of his hand, especially if he had ace king blocking like say first nut and second nut. So I actually think this is a lot more non-flushes than flushes. Now, what form of non-flushes might that be? I mean, I suppose it could be an overpair with a spade. It's a little bit counterproductive to do that. But if he had something like ace king, ace of spades, he could make this play. I tend to think that the overpairs with spades probably just sometimes check call. The point that I'm making here is if you put a gun to my head, like if you bet 65 and the guy moved all in, I would call. I would call for sure. Now you'd be getting less pot odds. I just think that you've got the best hand a ton here. I am not folding. And then the question though then becomes, if I'm comfortable here with the best hand right now with 2 cards to come, is it a situation where I 3-bet the flop? Or do I call and sort, because the equities change so much, kind of let a card come off and possibly let him continue? Because if he just check raises with like ace, king, ace of spades, or like, I don't know, like I said, some sort of weird overpair with a spade, is he gonna call your check raise? I mean, excuse me, your 3-bet on the flop. If he's always going to call, you could make a case for 3-betting flop. If you call now, the pot's going to be like 550 and you guys are going to have like 800 left. I tend to think I would probably just call here a lot, even with like a lot of my range.
That was my question. I had that actually written down here in the notes. Should I raise here?
Yeah, I think it's, again, I mean, we've got a split here in the live chat. Some people saying 3-bet flop. Some people just saying call.
Well, I flatted.
Okay. So hero calls. Yeah.
And to be honest with you, in the moment, I was starting to get more and more nervous because there was more money piling in. And So I honestly, I didn't even consider a raise at that point.
The other consideration for 3-betting your hand instead of just calling, if you think he's always going to call with like, overpairs with a spade or like ace king with the ace of spades, is the fact that you can have cards that come off that are not spades that actually might kill your action against some hands that he would continue to bluff with, like ace king or like overpairs. Like say, for example, if 3 comes or 7 comes or an 8 comes, that's not a spade. Now you have 7, 8 in your hand, so there's less of a chance of that. But there is that consideration, which probably means that like I maybe I want to 3-bet sets more because there are action killing cards. Like if you had a set of 6s here, you maybe want to 3-bet that more.
Yeah, and I thought about that. I thought maybe he probably put me more on any set than the only thing I was sure about in the hand is that he had no idea I had 7, 8.
Well, yeah.
That's what it felt like anyway.
So, all right. So you make the call, and now
I called.
now it's 550. Okay, let's move to the
Yeah,
turn.
we're at the turn for 550, and the 8 of clubs comes off.
All right, so there you go. So this is what I was saying is that, I mean, I don't know what he's going to do, but he might, like, if he had like some of those hands, ace king with the ace of spades, or even the aces or kings with a spade, right? He might have just like basically committed himself on turn with either of those hands, like on a brick. But now that the 8 comes, it might slow him down. You might not get the action that you would have gotten by 3-betting flop. But again, you have an 8 in your hand, so it was less likely that it was coming. But so 6 of spades, 5 of spades, 4 of spades turns the 8 of clubs. Okay.
Yeah, and he checks again. He double checks me, which he checks, and then I don't think too long. I actually just kind of like within like 5 seconds bet another 200.
So you have, let's just do the math out here. So the pot's 550. Again, you guys have like, I think it is 350, like about 750. So about a pot and a half.
The 2, yeah.
Yeah, about a pot and a half size bet left. He checks. I mean, I certainly wouldn't check it back. That's for sure.
No, I bet the 200 because I'm not good at the math and stuff like that, but I caught a feeling like I had him at that point. But then he check raised me again. He double check raised me.
Well, now, so this guy Nick here in the live chat, I don't know who this guy is, says, "Oh, you should just check it back on the turn because there's a one-liner out there." I mean, I guess the flush is transparent. I mean, you're allowing a free card to come off that you could get value from here. And the other thing too is that if the hero puts in a bet here that's not like really, really large, I still think overpairs and spades can call.
That's what I was going after. Looking back, and the feeling was it was a bad bet. I was just trying to, I was hoping he was going to chase.
So small blind checks, hero bets 200, and now what? Does he check raise all in?
Yeah, well, this is where it gets a little muffed up. So he insta check raised me to 700.
So basically all in.
Yes, basically. There was still a little bit behind though, and I got a little I was getting intense.
Before you tell us what happened, because there was just a couple comments too on the turn play that people were saying rip it on turn. I'm talking about from your perspective, right? You bet 200 into 550, and you had like 750 left. So
I considered folding for a while. Sorry to cut you off there.
Well, before we get to like I said, his check rate, I'm talking about when he checked to you bet 200, right? So I'm trying to think about whether you could rip it all in if there's like bet 750 here. The only thing about that though is that first of all, I wouldn't probably take a line like check raise with aces with the ace of spades. But if hero rips it in here, and he's got like kings, queens, aces with the ace of spades, is he going to call off with one card to come with a one-liner out there and a naked spade? That's why I think hero trying to get some value here and taking a size where there could be some bluffs might be a little bit better. That's why
yeah, I mean, that was just my instinct. It was an instinct bet. I just kind of put the 2 in, but he essentially he ripped.
So the small blind check raises right essentially to 700. So I mean, basically you're looking. I mean, I'm going to treat it as an all in because we know that it's going in. You're basically looking at a pot of about basically 1,500, and it's at like 550 for you to call. Is basically what it is. So you're getting like 3-1. I don't know, man. I mean, it's kind of. I don't think I fold here. I got to be honest with you. It's so he check raises flop, and now he double check raises turn. There's so few flushes that he has here. It is interesting that he's doing this like on a 7, which should tend to kind of scare him like a little bit. But I would have a hard time folding. I would have a hard time bet folding here in such a tight configuration with so few flushes, and this line is just not all that common. I would have it. I mean, yes, the double check raise is scary, but I would just have a hard time folding here at 3-1. Again, it's not a single raise pot. It's a 3-bet pot in a very, very tight consideration.
Right. So I definitely went into the tank on this, and I did, I announced my hand. That was the problem, and he actually announced his after I called.
So you called.
Yeah.
And?
Yeah, I called. And, I still had $1.25 behind me.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah.
So, he said, but he announced his hand too. So it got weird. He said that he had king with the king of spades.
He said, wait a minute. This was not set up as a non-hand call. So wait a minute. You call, you guys still have $100.
But I thought I was all in.
Right. But still, but you still had $100 behind. And he says to you, I've got kings with the king of spades, but he hasn't shown anything.
Yeah, he didn't show anything.
I mean, that's going to get weird at the end unless you guys mutually agree to just turn your hands over now.
Yeah, it got weird. It definitely got weird.
Okay, so what's the river?
So the river was the 10 of clubs.
Okay, so
I went all in and he folded.
So he checked. So he checked.
Yeah,
okay.
He checked. I went all in and he folded.
He folded at the end?
Yeah, he folded.
Wow.
Yeah, he folded.
Oh, because you told him you had 7-8?
Yeah, I told him. He goes, how do you have a straight here? He had no clue how I had it.
Wow, that would be an unbelievable, I guess you could call it in some world. If he said, I've got kings with the king of spades, and you told him I have a 7, but you didn't have a 7, and then you got him to fold at the end.
Yeah, that would be an angle. I don't play that.
No, I know. But that would have been a hell of a thing.
I actually feel like I talked to a couple people about it up there, and I feel like I played the hand okay, but at the end I obviously muffed it up.
Well, I mean, you made forget about the hand where you made sort of a live mechanics mistake, right? So they have all in buttons, right? I assume.
Yes.
Yeah. So you just got to verify. Like if I'm going to call there, I'm going to know the guy's got money behind. You have to verify the fact that if the dealer didn't put the all in button in, you have to realize that yourself and just move all in on the turn so that you don't have this happen.
I mean, it was really, they have cash on the table too.
Oh God, I hate that shit. Yeah.
Yeah. They got $100 bills flying everywhere.
Yeah. I hate cash on the table because it's so hard to keep track of, and people start getting pissed off when you ask them to count down their money. Because what am I supposed to mentally remember that everyone has like all the time? But
you got to pull them out and start counting for everybody. Yeah.
Interesting call. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.